Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? Why did the USA give India a 30-day waiver to buy Russian oil? See, now this particular news must appear strange to us, especially considering this past few days your White House secretary, all the important members of your White House, including Donald Trump, everyone kept criticizing India that you are buying Russian oil. So much so that many members, such as your Peter Navarro, has even held that he's even accused India of bankrolling the Russia-Ukraine war because of buying your Russian oil. When that is the scenario, now why is your USA willing to offer a waiver for 30 days for India? See, the story goes back to the same old saga. It is very difficult to be USA's friend. It is very much more difficult when you have to have an ally, friend, and maintain a relationship with them. Why exactly all this thing is in news? Because of what is happening right now in the West Asian geopolitics. Your USA, alongside its ally in West Asia, Israel, have attacked Iran. Now, Iran is targeting your US bases in your West Asian regions. Understanding? And also it is targeting your Israel. Another important region, now okay, we may understand that okay, your US is targeting Iran is targeting US bases in West Asia, fine. What has this got to do with India and your waiver to Russia? First and foremost, let's take it this way. One thing your Iran controls is the most strategic global choke point. What am I calling as the global choke point here is your Strait of Hormuz. Your Strait of Hormuz is now being closed. Iran has held that if any particular ships pass through that, it will be targeted by Iran. Your US has, even US officials have held that Iran is trying to do this in order to hold this particular Strait of Hormuz closing down for shipping as a global leverage. Now, we don't want Iran to have that leverage. That is why we are looking for all the other alternatives. Now, what would happen if your Strait of Hormuz is closed and no other alternative or options are given out? See, first of all, let's take countries like India. India, majoritarily, or let's say 90% of its import of crude oil is done from other countries. Now, this particular crude oil importing that we do from West Asia all has to pass through Strait of Hormuz. If we are not able to do there, and already the shipping cost has increased, alongside the crude oil prices have also increased from your 2020 range. If this keeps on going, then it will be an extremely difficult scenario for the world itself to move ahead, and it will become much more difficult for India. See, India usually maintains a safe limit of 45 days crude oil supplies. But if this keeps going on and if they do not relieve the pressure in Strait of Hormuz, then it will become an issue for the entire global issues. So, in order to not give Iran the leverage here, your US has cleared a waiver stating that India can purchase Russian oil. Now, it says India can purchase Russian oil. It is only for 30 days, and they have also held that this 30 days of amount, whatever India is going to buy, it is not going to add any more funds to your Russia. It is just already the oil which is at your seas. So, your US is okay to offer waiver when it is suiting its demands. So, the same old strategy goes. It is difficult to be USA's enemy. It is much more difficult to be USA's friend. So, the background of these restrictions, that is the waiver, comes behind the restrictions where 25% of tariff was put on India for purchasing Russian oil. Peter Navarro has even held that your India was bankrolling. He's even accused India of these claims. And also the Strait of Hormuz and oil disruption. Do you see this chunk here? This is your Strait of Hormuz. About 40 to 50% of crude oil passes through this route, and this is what your Iran is holding hostage as a global leverage. 20% of the global oil goes through this. Now, your Brent crude has held that the crude oil prices have increased so much so that it has gone to $85 per barrel. Your Texas International has held that it has rose to $81 per barrel. This is the highest since your 2020. As and when your prices keep going up, it takes up a large chunk on your India's import bill. Understanding? Because India is one of the largest energy consuming country. We are energy hungry. So, like I told, 90% we import. Majority chunk will go only in this imports only. So why is Iran granting this waiver? Simple, in order to relieve the pressure that Iran wants to gain leverage through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, they've also held that no, this oil, whatever they will purchase, will not add to the economy of Russia. It is just already which is traveling to India. And also, if you see about India's energy security, India consumes about 5.5 million barrels of oil per day. That is your petrols and diesel, and it imports almost 90% of its crude oil import. Before 2022, how the scenario was means, your India used to import oil from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, United States. Russia was contributing only 2%, but what happened was, after your Ukraine war, Russia started giving oil at a discounted price. So much so that we started purchasing in a large quantity. But this is what again they kept holding as India purchasing oil is the one that is fueling your Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, they put sanctions, they told India not to do, India also told we will reduce. Has Russia-Ukraine war come to an halt? Next. Following the sanctions, everything, India reduced the Russian oil imports. But now again, the Russian oil share has to considerably increase now in 2026 based on what is happening right now with respect to West Asia. But now they are giving a sanction or waiver for only 1 month. But if you see experts, they are claiming that the Strait of Hormuz is not going to come to an end any soon. The shipping will suffer, the traveling will suffer, the fees for this will suffer. What do we mean by shipping will suffer, traveling will suffer, fees will suffer? Which means until stability is reached, there cannot be any guarantees. Just a month of waiver is not going to do anything for India. See, first and foremost, India maintains certain strategic reserves. Enough to maintain 25 days of crude oil reserves, 25 days of petrol and diesel, almost 45 days of reserves we have. But if this keeps on going, if oil prices keeps increasing, inflation will increase, current account deficit will increase, the pressure on Indian currency will increase. So this will make the government first to look into the matters of Indian national security. So meaning what? If at all India is not able to act in its own or on sovereignty basis, here when I am telling sovereignty basis, India's strategic autonomy gets questioned if it is not able to freely decide to where and from where it has to purchase. Understanding? Then it will show us one important thing: the importance of global energy demand, vulnerability of it, and also maintenance of strategic autonomy with regard to national interest. So, can India act on its own in a strategically autonomic manner with regard to the oil purchases, or should it has to still rely on USA? See, first and foremost, India does a balancing act with regarding to USA, Iran, Israel. national security and strategic autonomy must come before any of the other aspects. Understanding? So, the real challenge for India is to balance energy security, strategic autonomy, and diplomatic relations. With this, we come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.